Hi, I'm Lyndsie. My pronouns are she, her, and today I'm going to take you through a beginner/intermediate Pilates workout. We're going to start standing up nice and tall, feet in parallel. That means toes pointed straight forward, and they're about a fist width from each other so that the thigh bones can come straight out of the hip sockets. Once you get there, I want you to just let those arms dangle down by your sides. And we're just going to breathe. Take a nice big full breath in, and a big exhale. Big full breath. And exhale. We're going to start adding the arms into this movement. So we inhale them up overhead. And then exhale, push them back down. Inhale takes you up, 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 up. And exhale brings you down. Nothing changing in your spine or rib cage yet. Just a movement of the arms. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Now I'm going to turn so you can see my body a little bit better. But we're just going to add some chest and some rib and spinal movement to the same thing. So on your inhale, you're going to lift your arms and your chest. And then exhale, bring it all down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, push. 3 more. And down. 2. And down. Last one. And down we go. Roll your arms a little bit. Okay, I'm coming back to forward so you can just see my shape a little bit better. Now, hands are going to come onto your hips. Elbows just out to the sides. Try to relax those shoulders. And on your exhale, you're going to lift your heels up. And inhale them down. Exhale brings them up. Inhale lowers. Starting to just wake up and warm up the ankles and feet. Now, if you're doing this and you're like, man, Lyndsie, I am wiggly today, stand near the back of your couch or possibly the back of a chair and hover a hand over it. Part of this is balance work, though. So if you find a moment where you think you're going to fall, recenter yourself, find it again, meet us wherever we are. 3 more times. Trying to imagine those heels lifting up a little elevator shaft and right back down. Last one. And lower. Now, we're going to add on to this. So, we're going to lift the heels up. Then we're going to bend one knee and drop the other heel down. We then lift up to switch. Back and forth, always lifting to come back down. Trying to not let our hips sway side to side too much. So it's just a pedaling sensation. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Both heels come down. Shake your hips out a little bit. We're now going to come to a standing and external rotation position. So you're going to pick your feet up and externally rotate from the thigh bones. Now here, I want those legs zipped together as close as they can get. If your heels touch, swell. Wonderful. It's a good landmark to use. But otherwise, whatever parts of your legs are touching right here and can squeeze your inner thighs, maybe a little bit of that booty, keep them touching. Okay? That's the goal, is to not let them soften or fall out to the sides. Hands on your hips again, or over the back of a chair or a couch, whatever you got. Big breath in. Exhale, we lift. Inhale, we lower. We're trying to just maintain that squeezing sensation up the center line of those legs. Three more. 2. And 1. Lower it down. Now you're going to take your feet out just a little bit wider. If your heels are about the width of your shoulders, golden. That's a good place to be. If that feels too wide for you, just step it in a little closer. But here, we're going to bring our hands to our hips again. We're going to do that a lot today. And then we're going to imagine that our back is up against a wall. And on your inhale, you're going to slide your back down that wall by bending the knees. And exhale, stand back up. It's not fast. Take your time. And your range of motion is up to you. If your knees are like, yo, I don't like this, make it small. Make it really small. Because here's the deal. Stuff doesn't get better or easier unless you do it sometimes. And even if it's hard, we can do hard stuff. And up. Every time you push up, I want you to feel yourself driving through your feet to stand. 2 more. Last one brings you down. Hold here. Now the knees are going to pulse back. Open, open, open. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand up tall. Shake your hips a little bit. Also, you're going to start hearing me huffing and puffing, and that's just how it is. When you start moving, you start breathing heavier. We're going to come back down to that little squat. And now all we're going to do is lift one heel and then set that foot down. And then we lift the other heel. Back and forth in this movement, trying to not let our pelvis move around. It's just happening from thigh bones down. We're almost there. 1 more. Set that foot down, stand up tall, and walk your feet back into sort of a parallel shape. We warmed up the ankles and some of the lower body, and now we're going to go for the upper body. Let's take the arms out to a T. Palms are facing down towards the floor, and you're just standing nice and tall. Now, posture-wise, in this position, if you find yourself with your chest lifted, I want you to just think about, how can my ribs get a little closer to my pelvis? And another sensation I like to think about a lot in this, trust me, I know your arms are up, we're making them heavy, is thinking about wearing a vest that might be just a little too snug for you and what that sensation feels like, and trying to find that. Finding that initial activation of your core muscles. And now you're going to make me little circles. Now through this arm warm up, if at any point you're like, man, Lyndsie, I ain't got it today, put them down. Take a break. Meet us wherever we are. And then reverse these circles. Oh, yes. Shoulders are starting to get warm already. We already did sweeping motions overhead and down to our hips. So we're going to change it up a little, and we're going to pause here. You're going to bend at the elbow so your fingertips point forward, and then you're going to rotate those arms up to a goalpost position. We come back forward and out. We bend and rotate. Down and out. Bend. Rotate. Down and out. 2 more. Bend. Rotate. Down and out. Last one. Bend. Rotate. Stay here. You're going to reach one arm up and side bend a little bit. Oh, yeah. And then come on back down. You're going to reach the other arm up and side bend. And down. Back and forth. Ooh, golly. Reach, reach, reach. 1 more each way. Last one. Now we're here. Palms are facing forward. Straighten the arms out so the palms continue to face forward. And then give me little circles here. Trust me, I know. Your arms weigh 1,000,000 pounds right now. We're so close, y'all. You can make it. We're almost there. I promise. Reverse those circles. This is it. This is the last thing. Once you switch that circle direction, we are on the home stretch of this arm work. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause here. Reach wider. And then let those arms hang down towards the floor. Shake them out a little bit. Give your head a turn left and right. And then shrug your shoulders up to your ears and drop them. 2 more times. Shrug, shrug, and drop. Last one. Shrugs and drops. All right, let's come down onto our mat finally. We're going to be seated in a high seat position. Feet down, but you most likely won't get your toes all the way down, and that's fine. So as long as the heels stay down and weighted, that's the important part. Okay, arms come out in front of you. And on your exhale, you're just going to kind of rock off your sit bones and curl back to a little shaky zone. Breathe in and exhale right back up. Now, what I mean by shaky zone, as you keep rolling, always moving on the exhale, is that you curl back to a place where you feel those abdominals turn on, and they might tremor a little. So your range of motion is up to you and what your body's into today. And up. 3 more. And up. Last 2. And lift. Last 1 comes back and holds. Now I want you to imagine someone poking you in your belly button, right? And then you're going to give me little pulses forward over that poke. 3, 2, 1, and all the way up. Hands come back behind you on the floor. Slide your scapula together, lift your chest. Look at the ceiling. Rock your head from side to side. Okay, come on up to tall. Now, we're going to start working on breaking down this thing called the roll-up, which is where you're laying completely down flat on the floor. Arms go up to the ceiling, and without using your hands to help yourself up, you come up off the floor. You literally roll. I like to joke like a can of old school tuna. But it's not a super easy accessible thing for most people. So the best place to work on it is actually the roll down to the floor. So that's what we're going to start with today. And I'll give you some tactics on how to get back up for each roll down. So you're going to scoot back a little further and straighten your legs as long as you can get them. Now, if you need some room here, you're going to separate those legs. And you can soften your knees if that helps you sit up taller as well. Otherwise, legs are just out in front of you. Arms out in front of you as well. Shoulders out of those ears. I want you to kind of squeeze your armpits. I know that sounds like a funny cue, but take a moment to squeeze and release. Like you're plugging your shoulders onto your back. And release. One more time. Squeeze. Now hold that squeeze. It can be gentle, about 50%. And on your exhale, you're going to rock off your sit bones and curl your way back. Our goal here is to just not plop. And lay yourself down. Yes, I'm going to moan and groan. The arms then go overhead. Oh, find a long oppositional stretch, toes to fingertips. Now the arms come up to the ceiling, but here's the deal. If accessing, curling up like this, just with no assistance from your hands is not in your wheelhouse, no big deal. You're gonna take one hand and you're gonna slide it underneath the small of your back. The other hand gets to stay up to the sky. We'll alternate which hand we use on the floor, so it will be nice and even. Take a big breath in, and on your exhale, bring chin to chest. Curl up, and when you find that sticky point, push into your bottom hand to help you come up and dive over. And sit up tall. You might not even need the push portion. If you fill up that space in your low back where the spine curves away from the mat, it very well could help you get up too. Arms out in front of you again. Rock off those sit bones. Remember, we're trying to hollow our belly and roll down and not plop. Let's pause here with arms up to the sky. If you use the hand in the small of your back, go ahead and back to that on the other side. Big breath in. Exhale, chin to chest. Curl up, up, up. Using the hand as needed and then bringing them both out in front of you. We're going to curl back again. And we're switching back to the first hand. Let's try this. Big breath in. Exhale, chin to chest. Come on up. Ugh. And arm out in front. We got 2 more. Roll it back. Hands sneaking underneath your back. And up we come. And sit up tall. This is our last time rolling back, and we're going to stay down there. So really focus on not plopping. Hollowing your belly. Curling back, 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 back. And laying down flat. Let the arms come rest down by your sides and bend your knees in towards your tush. Feet will be flat and decently close to your butt. Don't make it so it feels really cramped, but give yourself enough of a connection that you're not going to feel when we bridge eventually like your feet are so far away that your hamstrings can't help you. All right, now that we're down here, I want to work on some upper body contraction. So there, let's sneak our hands back behind our head. And this movement is about 3 pieces. Those pieces are hovering your head, shifting the ribs towards your pelvis, and then looking over your knees. And then right back down. These little C-curve curl-ups in Pilates are not really big. They are meant to be just a deep contraction of those really deep upper abdominals and the transverse abdominis. So take your time with me and let's break it down. This first piece, elbows are up in your peripheral vision. Your head is looking towards the ceiling. On your exhale, no change in head position other than it hovers off the mat with your hands. Exhale to shift your ribs towards your pelvis. You're still looking at the sky. Big breath in. And exhale, look over your knees to finish, pulling yourself up a tiny bit higher. Can you hear the shaking in my voice? Come all the way back down. That's the thing about these little curl-ups, is when they're tight and concentrated, they are intense. And that way you don't need to get up really high. Okay, elbows in your peripheral. Let's try that 3 more times. We're gonna hover the head, shift the ribs, and look over the knees. I sound like a robot talking into a fan. And curl back down. 3 more. Hover the head, shift those ribs, and look over the knees. And down we come. Last 2. Hover the head, shift the ribs, look over those knees, and down. Last 1. Hover the head, shift the ribs, and look. Oh yes. Lay yourself down, arms down by your sides, drop your knees from side to side a couple times. Something I want you guys to start noticing from me in these classes is that unless it's a super advanced flow class, and I'll list them as such, there's always going to be these moments to pause and breathe and catch yourself, okay? Now, I'd like you to bring your knees in towards your chest. You're going to grab them. If holding your hands on your shins is inaccessible, you're going to grab a yoga strap or a dog leash or something and pull them across your shins. And hold on and curl up head and chest in towards those knees. If you need more space, take the legs wide. Totally reasonable, okay? Now from here, we're going to keep holding on to this right leg, but extend the left leg long and reach. Pull the right knee in and then switch. Hi, welcome to single leg stretch. Oh yeah, and I mean that. Stretch that one long leg out. 1 more each way. Whew. And in. Both in, head down, feet down. Arms back out to a T. Drop your knees from side to side. Come on back to center. Walk the feet a tiny bit wider from each other, and then flip your hands over and bring them down by the sides of your body. We're going to work on a little bit of articulated bridging. The first thing you need to know is that we want to be able to tilt our pelvis here. So I like to imagine that there's a knob on the side of my pelvis, and I can tilt that knob so my pubic bone goes towards my nose. And in that moment, my low back presses into the mat. And then as I tilt it the other way, I can tilt that pubic bone away from me and even arch it so that my back finds a nice big unlifted sensation from the mat. And then neutral is somewhere in the middle. Neutral is going to be different for all of us, but I like to imagine my pelvis pointed straight up at the ceiling as if it were a bowl holding liquid. And I want to make sure that none of that liquid is sloshing out to any of the sides. All right, now we're going to do an articulated bridge. That means you're going to start with that imprint, and then on your exhale, you're going to peel up one little bone at a time, like you're trying to pull a string of pearls up off the floor. At the top, you breathe in, and exhale to curl down, 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 like you're laying that string of pearls back down. And release. We're going to do 2 more like that. Take your time. Exhale, imprint, and peel it up. If your hamstrings are screaming at you, squeeze your inner thighs for me. Bring them into help. Exhale moves you back down to neutralize. Last one. Hips up, breathe in and down. And neutralize. Rock your pelvis forward and back a couple times. Limber up that low back for a moment. Okay, now on our next 4, we're going to then, instead of curling right back down the center, we're going to come up the middle. We're going to tilt the hip down to one side and roll down that side of the body, creating just some extra length on each side. Arms are down. On your exhale, we imprint and peel her up, 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 up. Now here, I want you to just an inch or so tilt your left hip down and your right hip up. And then you're going to roll down the left side of that body. Oh, yes. Try to not let your knees go with you. And then bring it back to center. Curl up the middle again. Tilt your right hip down, left hip up slightly. And then peel down the right side of that body. Oh, yeah. And back to center. 2 more. Come up the middle. Hips are high. Give me a little tilt and a curl down. Oh, yeah. And back to middle. Last one. Peel it up, working the back line of the body here. Tilt to the right and peel it down. Woo. Okay, once we get here, I'd like you to bring those arms back out to a T shape. Palms are facing up. And then you're going to cross your right leg over your left, pretty close to the knee joint, wherever you can get. And then we're just going to let those legs fall over to the left side, finding a big twist. Couple breaths. On your next exhale, you're going to wrangle those legs through center, and drop them to the right. On your exhale, find your way back to center. Unpretzel the legs, setting the other foot down, and then recrossing them the other way. So now the left leg is on top of the right. We're going to tilt to the right first. Oh, the side is tight. Woo. Things I need today, starting with this twist. On your exhale, wrangle those legs through center and drop them the other way. And on your exhale, come right back to the middle, unpretzel, and set those feet down flat. Wiggle your toes for me a little bit, rock your feet in and out a few times, find that flat-footed surface. And then zip those legs all the way together. Whatever part of your legs can touch, as close to the feet as you can get them. Now, arms come up to the ceiling. Palms are facing towards your feet, shoulders are heavy on the mat. We're going to go to an upper body curl here. It's the same. Hover the head, shift the ribs, look over your knees. But we're just adding long arms to it. I like to imagine that my long arms are a lever that's being pushed on by a big hand that helps me curl up. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, chin to chest, hover the head, shift the ribs, look over your knees. The arms are down by your hips. And then inhale to descend. 4 more like this. Hover the head, shift the ribs, look over those knees. Last 3. Hover, shift, look. Last 2. Hover, shift, look. Once you've got those 3 pieces down, you can smooth it out. Doesn't have to be a pausing moment. Now, come back down, get your head on the mat, and then stack your right hand on top of the left in the center of your chest. So, still up to the sky, but it's more centered over your body now. And on your exhale, you're going to curl up and take those hands to the left side of your legs. And inhale back to center. And then curl up and take them to the right. And left. And right. 1 more each way. Come back to center. Restack the hands the other way. So left hand is on top. And on your exhale, curl up to the right. And down to the middle. Left. Be sure as you come down, you always let the head touch down to rest. Last pair. And last one. Come on down, split the hands, and let the arms go overhead. Here, rock your head from side to side gently. Ooh, getting myself a fancy new hairstyle doing this. We sometimes build tension in those unsupported curl-ups, so you can always take a break and rock your head from side to side after you do a round of them. Now, arms back down by your sides, and on your exhale, you're going to bring your legs to tabletop one at a time. That means thigh bones perpendicular to the floor, shin bones parallel to the floor, as much as you can. Now here, you might be like, Lyndsie, this is it. This is the top end of my work right now, is holding this. Or, if you'd like to come along for the ride, we have another option. And that option is single leg toe taps, imagining a rod running through your pelvis. From here, the shape of the leg doesn't change, but it tilts down on that rod on an inhale and exhales up. And then we switch. Back and forth. If you don't touch the floor, that's fine. Even if you shift one leg down an inch or two and then bring it back up, you're still working those muscles. Now, another option, if you're feeling particularly spicy, is letting the legs pass each other in midair. That takes a lot more low abdominal control. So if you try it and you're like, man, Lyndsie, I got salsa hips, chill out. Just go back to the first, or just a hold in tabletop. It's all good work. 3, 2, 1. Both feet come down, one at a time. Whew, and now that we've created some tension in those hip flexors, we're gonna bridge again, but a flat back bridge to press and open the hips as much as we can. Arms down by your sides. And on your exhale, I want you to squeeze your glutes and just push your hips to the ceiling. And then inhale, bring them down. As you squeeze up, think about pubic bone reaching through your thighs. 3 more. 2. Last one, lifts and holds. Breathe here. Let's get a tiny bit more hamstring activation. We're going to lift the heels and lower them. Back and forth, up and down. If you're like, Lyndsie, nope, my hamstrings don't like this, just set your feet down and hold your bridge. You have options. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the heels and lower that tush. We're going to pull the knees back in towards our chest again. And we're going to curl up head and chest, holding on to whatever we can hold on to. We're going to extend that left leg long again. And you're like, oh, Lyndsie, we're doing single leg stretch again? We are, but we're doing the straight leg version. So straighten that bad boy up to the sky. Grab behind your thigh if you can, or calf, or ankle, whatever you can get to. And then pull it towards you twice. Pull, pull, and then long straight leg switch. Pull, pull, and switch. Pull, pull, and switch. Pull, pull. One more each way. Both knees in, head down, feet down. Arms out to a T. Drop those knees from side to side. Now we're going to use rolling like a ball to get up off of our backs. Yes, this truly is a thing. Pull those knees in towards your chest. Hands on shins, elbows wide. Curl up head and chest, and then rock and roll forward and back until you can get yourself up on your tush. Now here, I'd like you to bend your knees and stack them, and then come down to your forearm. The knees are going to push back here, and this top arm's going to come up to the ceiling, shoulder down out of your ear. On your next exhale, this arm is going to go overhead, and you're going to lift your hip up off the mat. And then inhale lowers you down, tap the hip down, and let the arm rest on your thigh. On your exhale, come on up again. And down. 4 more. This is what that shoulder warm-up was for. 3. And down. Last 2. And down. Last 1. Comes up and holds. Breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down. Fabulous. Now, this top leg is going to extend long, and the bottom knee is going to pull up towards you a little bit more. We're going to do a little bit of side leg work. I'm going to scoot so I don't kick my things over there. Here, you can continue to be up on your forearms, but you have to stay up, lifted. Don't sink down into it. Press into that arm to stay up. Or, if that is just not feeling it for your shoulder today, you're going to come down and make a little pillow for your head, or that, comfy gossip at a sleepover position. Any of those are relevant. I'm going to come up to my forearm, because why not? Top hand comes to your top hip. This bottom leg is a little tripod stand. We're going to hover that top leg to hip height. Bring the toes back towards the shin to come to dorsiflexion, and then kick forward and point to pull back behind us. Kick and pull. Kick and pull. Yeah. Ooh. 3. Woof. 2. And 1. Pull it back, back, back. Stay back here. Little baby lifts and lowers. They're only so big that they don't move your pelvis. 3, 2, 1. Bend that knee in. Stack it on top of the bottom one. Now from here, we're just going to do a little external rotation. If you're on your forearm, reset yourself. I know we're getting fatigued. Top hand comes to your top hip again. Rock that top hip forward. Your feet are the pivot point. Open and close. Trying to create a little battle in that hip socket. So if it's really easy to open, that probably means your pelvis is going too. So scale it back. Fight it with that glute. 2 more. Woo. Last one. And set it down. Now push yourself up. And we're going to switch to the other side. So legs are stacked. Push them back a little bit so there's more in line with your body. They're not going to be a perfect straight line. It's a soft V. And then lower yourself down onto your forearm. Top arm comes up to the ceiling. And then on your exhale, you're going to push and lift yourself as the arm comes over. And then come on down, lowering the arm down to your hip. Exhale, lifts you up. Inhale, lowers. Come on up. And down. 3 more. And down. 2. And down. Last one. Hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down. Now we're going to do that side leg work too. So pick your poison. You can either be here or you can be down in the gossip position or even all the way flat if your shoulders are having it today. I'm going to come back up on that forearm. I try to stay even. Whatever I do on the first side, I try to do on the second side for placement. This top leg is going to extend long. The bottom knee pulls up forward a little bit. Dorsiflexion in the foot. We kick forward, point to pull back. Kick and pull. Kick and pull. 2 more. Last one. Pull it back. Hold back here. Little baby lifts and lowers. Check in with your shoulder for 3, 2, 1. Stack it, that one on top of the bottom. Now we're going to our external rotation. Sink in your shoulder for a moment if you're up high. Woo, 2 big breaths. And then push up, finding that length in the shoulder and strength there too. Feet are your pivot point. Open and close. Ooh, today's a magical day where my left hip's not clicking. That's good. Usually likes to talk to me the whole time I'm doing this. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Close it up. Push yourself up here. Now, we're going to finish out with a little bit of Mermaid. So, I like the Z-sit position personally. This can be kind of tight for some folks, especially if your hips are tight already. If your hips are super tight, I suggest you checking out my other video, the hip release and opener. It is very helpful and it can help you get to more comfortable seated positions like this. If this is unobtainable for you, no big deal. You're going to step the legs out further and just make a bigger shape. Okay? Try bigger shape, and if that doesn't work, my favorite go-to is putting a little pad or like a towel underneath your tush. Fold it up, find the height you need, make it work. You'll be good. Okay? Now the hand that's furthest from the feet comes down on the mat. The other arm comes out to the side. Shoulders are out of your ears. And on your exhale, trying to keep that hip where it began, come up and over. And find a side bend. I came down to my forearm. You're welcome to just keep the hand down and bend your elbow, but I like the bigger range of motion that the forearm gives me. Big breath in. Exhale, come up, and we're going to counter stretch the other way. Set that other hand down close to your feet. Come up and over. And then back to the first side. We lower ourselves down, finding that side bend. Shoulders away from the ears and breathing. Exhale takes you up and over to counter stretch. Oh yes. Last one, come on up. Up and over. find your side bend first, and then we're going to add on to it. Big full breath. On your exhale, rotate your chest towards the floor and spread your hands out as wide as your mat. Let the elbows go wide and lower yourself down, including letting that hip come up finally. Now on an inhale, you're going to push into the heels of your hands and lift your chest forward and up. And exhale back down. 3 more. And down. Last 2. And down. Last 1. Come on, up, up, up. Notice how one hand's pushing and the other one's kind of pulling. Accentuate those sensations. Push into the push hand, pull into the pull hand. And on your next exhale, you're just going to unwind back to center. That was it. That was your mermaid for that side. Now we have to go the other way. So you're going to swing those legs around. And again, sit up nice and tall. Hand that's furthest from your feet comes down, other arm out to the side. Shoulders out of your ears. Trying to get that back hip heavy, even if it doesn't want to be. And on your exhale, come up and over, leaving that back hip where it began. 2 big breaths. Second exhale brings you back up, and we counter stretch the other way. Oh yeah. My left side is always the side that needs this. And up we come, coming back to the first side. And then up to counter stretch. Woo. Shoulders away from the ears. We're coming back to the first side and we're going to stay there. Big full breath in. Exhale, rotate your chest towards the floor. Spread those hands out and lower yourself down. And then on an inhale, lift your chest forward and up. Exhale, lowers, letting that hip come up as well. Inhale, lifts. 2 more. Down we come. Find that chest forward and up. You're looking straight ahead once you're up. And down. Last one. Hold here. Hold. Find that push in one hand and pull in the other. And accentuate it. 2 breaths. On your exhale, swing back to center. And that's it, my friends. We are done for this round, and I hope to see you again next time. Thanks.